You are now listening to No Dumb Idea. No Dumb Idea.
Listening to No Dumb Idea.
Swag.
Welcome to the mystical, magical land of Nodum. Here in Nodum, you will find many a wondrous thing. Tiny goblins who steal everything out of your pockets, as well as ancient giants who also steal everything out of your pocket. I guess everybody just kind of mugs you here.
It's a land of thieves.
Yeah, it's the land of thieves. Welcome. Well, welcome everybody to the land of thieves.
Yes.
This is No Dumb Idea. I'm Gymleader Nate, gonna be your main what's a good word, ringmaster for today.
And I'm Dala. I was
thieves?
pickpocketing Gymleader Nate.
Oh no! Oh, all of my giant condoms for my Magnum dong.
Oh, don't lie. These are
There you
small.
go.
These are small. The wrapping's just big. The condoms are small inside.
Okay, I may have,
Okay.
I may have
Nice.
just written Magnum on some like really small condoms. You got me. Okay.
This is Gibbledang here, but that'd be a really good bit where you pull out like a really large condom, but the text just says like extra small condom, and like you see the rib and it's just like a button.
Yeah, it's like tiny as hell. Shit.
Like, they just really don't believe in waste at this company, and they just make the packages huge.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, it's for
Or they really do believe in waste.
it's the trick people, you know. The trick someone take someone home, you know.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I dropped my big.
You
record.
have to unfold it.
It's like two-handed.
Record.
You have to two-hand rip it.
I
Open.
was whoa. You guys are getting you're thinking way bigger than what I was thinking. God damn.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking like the size of those checks they give out from Publishers
Oh
Clearinghouse.
God, I'm not even that big. Jesus Christ.
I think before she sees that it's like extra small condom, she'd be like, I gotta go.
Yeah, I think that would still be
Unsafe.
concerning. Whoever.
She'd be
Yeah,
like,
I think you're gonna need
I'm
an
gonna
ambulance
die.
after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Actually,
like-
no. It'd be
I
like
tend to
you
pick
would
those
pass
out.
out before anything happens.
That's
Oh, 'cause all the
true.
blood.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm looking for.
All the
I'm
blood
just
just
looking for a
rushing
nice
to
hard on,
pale.
and then I'm just like, ugh, pass out. Get
Then you fall asleep on
get
it like a log.
mugged because she was a goblin.
Mm-hmm. Goblin.
Oh, okay.
These.
Goblin D's nuts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of goblins.
Speaking of goblins, today we're going to be talking about fantasy. Fantasy as a genre,
Ooh.
as a world building framework, and because in my life, fantasy has always been a source of comfort for me. From the time that I was a kid, I was uncomfortable with reality and much preferred magical lands of make-believe, both that were presented to me and in my own head.
Mm-hmm. I imagine you slept on like a big text of like Lord of the Rings, like as a bed. That's your the comfort of it, you know.
Oh yeah, I would. Oh yeah, I would keep the Dragonology book just kind of like perched on my chest to protect me from the demons.
Ooh, that's smart.
Perched like a dragon.
Yeah.
Perched like a dragon. Yeah. So, I mean, right off the bat, that's whenever we talk about a new topic, I'm always most interested in like the things that like stuck with us throughout our formative years. As we stepped into the realm of fictional media. And for me, like, Dragonology, anything dragon related, I was on that shit like flies on shit.
Dragon Tales? Was that your jam?
Oh, okay. So Dragon Tales, I was a little bit. Here's the thing. Even though I was kind of too old for Dragon Tales by the time I discovered its existence,
Yesterday,
I still would watch. Yeah, I still watched it. I at the time, my stepbrother was watching it, and so I would just park myself in the living room and like draw and something and watch Dragon Tales with him because I was like, you know what, fire.
Yeah,
like,
what
was their fucking
my
what were their
jam.
names? Like
Wheezy
and Zack and Wheezy,
yeah,
the
Zack,
two-headed
Pinky.
dragons. They were sick.
You say Mimi?
That's a Pinky.
Oh, Pinky.
Pinky?
I don't think it was
Is that her
Pinky.
name?
It was something though.
I think there's a Pinky.
There's a pink girl.
Harpo.
Labubu? Anyways.
Oh, God.
I think there's a Harpo.
Yeah, there's a Groucho, Harpo, Larry, Curly,
Ringo.
Abbott.
Oh yeah, there's 2 Ringos. I forgot.
Yeah.
Ringo the dragon.
The two-headed
Woof, woof.
Ringo.
Yeah, I'm also Ringo.
We're just a bunch of Ringos here.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, what about y'all? What type of fantasy worlds really stuck out to you?
Well, growing up, I think first, definitely something very formative, even in like the stories that I want to tell, like even aesthetically. Labyrinth, anything really. Jim Henson. I loved Labyrinth growing up. And in turn, that made me love like Goblins and David Bowie's music, and yeah, that's always been super formative. After that, there was what is it, Legend, with it's Ridley Scott's like first or second movie, I think.
It was like second.
Yeah,
Third,
that
maybe.
one has Tom Cruise and Tim
You've talked
Curry.
about that one. I still
good
have
one.
never
It's
seen
really
that.
good.
I need to watch it.
Yeah,
It's
I can
good.
bring it if you
It's
want.
good. It's also got goblins.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. I love the dark fantasy kind of genre. And then, like growing up, it might have pivoted towards sci-fi fantasy. You got your Star Warses. And then I don't know how far it leans, but like I always say, I love Mega Man, and I don't know, that's just like, I don't know if it's just that's straight up science fiction, how much fantasy is in that,
Those
That's a good
two genres
question.
are pretty like connected in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hence,
The more
And then-
I live, the longer I live, the more I become convinced that sci-fi is just a subgenre of fantasy.
I mean, sci-fi fantasy
Yeah,
are always
yeah,
like, connected.
exactly. And now I love D&D. I love the classic D&D world. That's something that I recently got into, and yeah, no, I love it. I love creatures. I love little ghouls. I think in a point where things have become oversaturated in media, like heroes and shit like that, it's nice to just go back to creatures and things that aren't so, I guess, tied to an IP. Like, I know I said Dungeons and Dragons, but within that, it's just a bunch of dragons and ghouls and goblins.
That's not really. There's
Yeah.
Beholders.
there's. I mean, I guess there are characters in D&D that are like recognizable, but they're not as popular as just-
enemies.
just make up your own.
It's also the appeal of like things that are based off of old enough mythology and lore, like from various cultures, that they've become kind of ubiquitous. So like they don't, the concept of a ghost, is so pervasive in everything that like that using that as something in fantasy is like so easy to like digest for somebody who's wants something fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like the concept of a zombie. It doesn't really matter what world you're in. You know how zombies essentially function.
Yeah, there's some changes here and there, and like, gimmicks with them.
Yeah.
But
They name them something else in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, now they're walkers.
I hate
now
that
they're
trope.
Screamers.
I hate
now
that.
they're shamblers.
They're scramblers.
I fucking hate. It's
Now
like
they're
we got bramblers.
wigglers.
I always hate that in the media for zombies, at least.
Yeah, I really would love a good zombie media that took place in a world where zombies already existed as a legend. I thought I think that'd be fun if like someone was like, "Huh, zombie, that's a zombie."
Yeah.
Then everyone's like, "Are you sure it's not a shuffler?" And it's like, "Nope,
Nope. It's
I play video games. That's
Yeah.
a zombie."
that's a voodoo Haitian zombie, as in
Yeah, ZOMBI.
yeah.
No E.
There you go.
Traditional zombie.
Yeah, they do it that way. Which is kind of an underrated zombie in media, especially after zombies exploded and like
Voodoo zombie.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I could go. Honestly, I was thinking about it. And
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
yeah.
Sorry.
What was it? Outside of like the like Dragon Tales and like Between the Two Lions, or was it Between Two Lions? That like other PBS show, like
What? Between the Lions?
Between the Lions.
Reading the reading show?
yeah, that's kind of fantasy because it's talking lions in a book and they jump into the book. I don't know, but that was like the
sure.
limit. What I'm getting at is that was like the limit of my fantasy as a kid growing up.
And one of those is like an educational program.
Yeah, well, both of them are. Dragon Tales is fucking PBS.
I guess Dragon Tales is like emotional education.
Yeah, it's still education. But yeah, no, honestly, like I was more sci-fi, and really, honestly, I don't think it was until I was my early 20s that I actually sat down and watched Lord of the Rings, like all three, and like got through them in like not one sitting, but like each movie in one sitting, or I guess 3 sit-ins. But the one I did actually grow up with, like, as a big ass fan, was Zelda. As a kid, like I've always played every Zelda except for the CDI ones, whatever, that doesn't count. Like I'd made it a point, like I'd buy the new Nintendo console, I'd beat the game, like 100% it. I mean, they're not the hardest games either, but they're always just so cool. And like now that I've like expanded to see like Legend, or I've seen like Time Bandits or Brazil or whatever, all these other fantasy films and stuff, it's like cool to see where like stuff from Zelda is being taken from, like inspiration wise, and just kind of being like, oh, like I don't know, like tropes and characterizations and like style. But outside of that, yeah, it's like God of War as well was like a big one I played,
Oh yeah.
which
yeah.
I liked a lot as a kid. I don't know,
Yeah,
fantasy.
it's definitely mythology, fantasy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm like I said, the overall is like more of a sci-fi person. Like, so it's like Alien, Predator, like I don't know, Total Recall, RoboCop. Which again, I don't know what we're gonna draw the line on fantasy and sci-fi, but those, just to note that it's like
even what's the line on mythology and fantasy?
See,
Because I was thinking of that
I mean,
too.
yeah, because
That's so true.
you fight fucking krakens and shit, and I mean those are fantastical.
Because then it's also like, I don't know. I've been recently like kind of including just like all of it. Like, like nowadays I'm just like mythology, it's fantasy. Sci-fi, it's fantasy.
Yeah.
Comic, like most comic books.
I would say comics, I would say, are fantasy.
It's fantasy.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Yeah, I
mean,
just meant for the topic
fiction.
of this conversation.
Fiction
What
is
is the line?
fantasy.
Like for the podcast episode, what's
Well,
the line? Is what I was getting at.
Well, I feel like that's like, it's like in my head for this episode, it really comes down to it's non-realistic fiction.
Okay.
I feel like there's within the realm of fiction, there's realistic fiction where it's like, this is a story about a person in our world who like they're bounded by our rules and they like.
So Kill Bill's fantasy because she just kills so many people and that's unrealistic. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
I'd still say that's realistic fantasy technically.
Okay.
It's just stylized.
Yeah.
But
So that means like most, if not every movie.
But like, no, it's just like you have to think about things that literally like don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
That's once you're in the realm of things that are that have no existence in our world and in our lives, then you're in the realm of the fantastical.
Yeah. Ooh, what if it's like? All right, sorry, this is just dumb, but what about sci-fi where they're like where we've actually surpassed that technology and it's been made like cell phones or so? Does that now become not fantastical because now that cell phone or whatever exists?
Shit, that's hard. It's like, yeah, it's like,
No, it's a documentary. No, I'm just kidding. It's not.
well,
It's tough.
most of the time, funny enough, most of the time it still doesn't exist because the version that they imagine,
Sure.
we don't actually ever make. We always just make a much more boring real world
Or-
version of that technology.
They did make the
So-
Reeboks from Alien though, and they're commercially available as well as the watch from Alien. Sorry.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. One of these days I'll get all that.
So then, for the sake of the episode, is it fantasy as in dragons and knights? And
It is mostly
That's
fantasy.
what-
and dragons
yeah.
and
That's what it
knights.
sounded like. That's what it sounded like. It sounded
is-
like you
so-
wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
But it
Medieval
dabbles
times.
into other things that are just like magical, basically.
yeah.
Like magical or science to the point where it might as well be magic.
Yeah, like I actually watched Brazil for the first time the other day. Have either of y'all seen Terry Gilliam's Brazil?
No.
I would if you like.
Come to Brazil.
It's the same guy that did Time Bandits, Monty Python, 12 Monkeys, but that one's a really interesting one because it's literally half fantasy, half sci-fi in some senses. Like it takes place in like a sci-fi futuristic dystopian world, kind of. But then there's often times where it cuts to like, I mean, it's in his dreams, but he's dreaming about like him flying and like fighting off like giant like samurai and like stuff. It's cool. I'd recommend. It's a 80s like old school.
That sounds cool. Okay.
Yeah. But
I like one of the things I feel like I missed out on growing up that I didn't discover till I literally watched this like when I was like maybe 5 years ago. I watched this for the first time, maybe 6. Was Dark Crystal, like Gibbledang had
same,
mentioned
actually.
the Jim Henson things. Like I finally watched the Dark Crystal and I was like, damn, I really wish I had caught this when I was a kid. Like I feel like I really
same.
would have really liked it. Because that one was it's eerie, but like feels so like just fun and sparkly while being dark. It's
Yeah.
just such a cool juxtaposition.
It's definitely the closest thing to like a Legend of Zelda that we have so far. Really.
yeah.
like that
Like,
and all the
just
other.
in tone, adventure. You got a little guy who's a hero. No, that's funny. I watched it for the first time, like probably around the same time that you said, because I'd seen Labyrinth and his other stuff, but it's a good one. It's a really good one. Lots of great characters.
I like that.
Constantly going.
I'm not the biggest fan of the sequel. I wasn't
I haven't seen that one.
I don't
the new reboot
Yeah.
sequel thing they did. It was
I think it's a
it was
prequel
okay.
show or something.
Or whatever.
Whatever it is. Yeah, I'm like I haven't
Yeah, it's
seen
I
any.
can't remember where in the timeline
Fun-
it was.
Yeah. What's your?
I honestly did not finish it.
I was speaking of actually that like get reboot stuff. What is y'all's thoughts on the original Willow, or have you guys seen Willow? With Val
I
Kilmer?
might have watched
I don't
it
know that one.
once
I know.
when I was younger, but I could never get into it, honestly.
It's
I
What
think I don't know what it is. I think maybe as a kid I didn't like Val Kilmer. This is in that movie, right?
yeah,
Fair.
he's in there. What's his name? What's his name? The little actor, little person.
Warwick
Yeah,
Davis.
Warwick Davis is in it. He's like the main character. It's long. It's one of those ones that's it's just a little long, but I liked a lot of the like a lot of the scenes, but there's just like the scenes connecting those scenes is the part that gets kind of like boring. I think it's produced or written by George Lucas. I think.
They made a sequel show.
Yeah, and that's
They made a sequel show on Disney Plus and completely wiped
wiped
it
it.
from the. Yeah, crazy.
that's what reminded
um,
me because you guys were talking about the Dark Crystal remake. So I was just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
never got saw it.
You know what this also reminds me of? Princess Bride. I love that
That's a
movie.
good one.
That one's
That's
so
great.
good.
That's a great
Oh, yeah.
fantasy.
Damn.
Yeah.
For
Funny
me,
one.
it's like definitely Lord of the Rings. Funny, like Dala brought that up. I wanted to say it's like that one. My whole family liked Lord of the Rings, so I was hyper aware of that growing up when it was coming out. Like my older sister, read the Lord of the Rings books and like all the Harry Potters and was a big like fantasy reader originally.
I forgot about Harry Potter.
Yeah, it technically counts, but
Yeah.
everybody forgets about Harry Potter because now that we're far enough away from it, everybody realizes it sucks.
It's coming back.
Yeah.
I'm still a big, like, I don't know. I've always said, like, I was 12 years old reading all different kinds of fantasy books, loving fantasy, and I was the target demographic for Harry Potter. Tried to read that shit, and I was like, this sucks. This is so boring, and I hate it. And I was like, who is this made for? Because in actuality, the people who like that were like, I don't even know. I don't know who actually read Harry Potter because I couldn't get, I like read the first one all the way through. I gave it to myself as as one of our like picked fictional readings for elementary school. They're like, oh, you have to assign yourself a book, and then you have to make sure you complete the book and write a report on it. So I was like, oh, I'll do Harry Potter because everyone talks about Harry Potter and how good it is and how it's perfect for young kids who love fantasy. I go to read it and I was like, this is trash. Why? I don't like. I can't relate to any of this, and none of it makes sense to me. Like, I don't know. Sorry, I had to go on that little rant about Harry Potter for a second.
You actually reminded me. I used to like as a kid get a lot of fantasy books, even though I didn't like. Not that I didn't like fantasy. I just like to read it more so. And I'm like, there's the tip of the tongue. I'm trying to figure out which one. There's one. The Del Toro Quest book series. Did you ever fucking hear about?
What the hell?
That sounds so familiar.
I mean, I don't. If you wanna, that's the covers. They all had like that like border.
Oh, I owned one of those.
Sick.
I never read it, but I owned
like
one
that.
of those.
I remember.
I got that at Scholastic.
Yeah, I would always get them. Like I try to collect them. Let me see, Del Toro. Yeah. Sorry, I was just like, I need to buy some now and just reread because I don't remember shit from them.
That's
Speaking
fantastic.
of, when I was a kid, the only fantasy books that I read, or maybe even the only like just regular books that I read, were the Magic Treehouse, I think it was.
Magic Treehouse.
Or it's like the kids in the treehouse, and I think they had like a wizard friend, or they would read a book, and it would take them back to like certain periods or some shit like
It's
that.
like
I remember
the treehouse
these, yeah.
itself was magical, and when they played pretend in the treehouse, they actually went to the worlds they were playing pretend in. So
yeah, it's tight.
that one, yeah, Magic Treehouse is a series, very sick, and it's always like,
And I guess Goosebumps.
although all of the titles were like M is for mummy, and like P is for
The
Phoenix.
Wizard's Wondrous Land. Or
Yeah,
something
it's all
that,
like
yeah.
alliteration. Like those were so good.
Never read them, but
So-
I always see them. They look good.
Oh yeah.
They're fun.
I'll get those too with my Del Toro quests. Catch up.
So right now, I'm going to take an opportunity to share with you guys to show you what we're going to be working with in terms of this game we got today. Pew. There we go. There we go. All right. So this is our Fantasy Jeopardy. So, I wanted to talk about our categories for a second.
Sure, yeah.
So our first category on the left is we're going to have elves on elves on elves. So elves are probably one of the most evergreen fantasy things that you see across multiple types of universes and mythologies and everything. You know, it seems like everything has their own version of elves. So these are going to be questions about specific types of elves, and if you can identify them based off of their descriptions.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So like what would your favorite type of elf be if you had to pick one?
The Dark Elves from Thor.
Ooh,
But the comics.
That's a fun one.
Especially.
The comics,
Yeah.
right.
the books
Okay.
are good.
What about you, Gibbledang?
I guess the elf on the shelf.
Ooh, that's a good
Ooh,
one.
he knows a lot.
That's a good.
It's a
The old
classic
elf
one.
on the shelf.
Kinky.
The old North Pole elf.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
the toy
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah.
makers.
Yeah, Santa Claus elves. Boom.
There you
oh
go.
my god.
Buddy the Elf.
Fantastic. See,
They're essentially good goblins. They're like
Yeah.
for anti-goblins.
That is very true. Me, I would go with Keebler elves.
Ooh,
Cookie baking
pretty
elves.
good cookies, yeah.
Live in a tree.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
answer.
good.
So, I feel like that's what I would vibe with the most. So, but then our next category is the pen wishes, and this is gonna be about swords.
Oh, okay. Pen's
So-
mightier than... Okay. I was like...
Yeah, the pen wishes it was
Yeah.
mightier than the sword.
Yeah.
Not mightier than fantasy swords.
But what about a fantasy pen, though? What about that?
Well, I didn't put a fantasy pen. I just
Damn.
put pen. So it's a hierarchy. It's like you have
Just
real
pen and
world
sword.
pen,
Yeah.
then real sword, then above that you have fantasy pen, and then above that you have fantasy sword.
And then you have the purple crayon from that one movie. Above that.
What?
The fucking Harold and the Purple
Purple
Crayon.
I like that you can't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that you can't think of the name of the
Yeah.
movie. That
Well, I'm
one
like, what's his name?
that you
Like, what the
just
fuck
said,
is the kid's
Purple
name?
Crayon?
Yeah. It's like half the name.
In the name of the movie. Wait.
The name I couldn't remember was Harold, the more important part. You clearly didn't know what the fuck I was talking about.
You know, the classic fantasy name.
Yeah, Harold.
Harold.
Well, like
Harold.
Luke Skywalker, and I guess that's it.
I think about
For-
that all the time, about how there are all those crazy names in
Star Wars.
Star Wars, and then the two of the first ones, or a bunch of the first ones we first hear at the beginning of that entire series is Luke, Owen, Ben. Just like normal ass white dude names.
And here's Scrimble Blum Blum.
It's like, I lied. My name's not Ben. It's Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
It's like, there we
should
go.
be a
Now
Jerry.
we're talking.
I didn't think I would be taken serious.
Jerry Skywalker.
It's just, it'd be so funny for like them to make a new Star Wars thing and to be like, this is Gaik Arb. This is Shunth Gurth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then that's Phil.
Let it ease us in. You know, ease
Phil
you in.
McCracken.
Yeah.
All right.
right.
Let's keep going
Yeah.
with this.
Our
Let's
next
finish the-
category is Dagrons.
Mhm.
Famous Dagrons and dragons from various mythoses.
Okay.
I had to include this because, you know, I'm a big dragon head myself.
Big Dagron
you know,
fan.
Big Dagron fan. And, you know, anytime I have an excuse to talk about them, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it with both hands and never let go.
Ooh.
So then we have power systems. So this is going to be magic, you know, powers, abilities, different things that people can do that are extraordinary, have no basis in reality, but are
Okay.
awesome and cool and totally tubular.
Nice.
So like for me, like one of my favorite power systems is from the new books that I've been reading. You know, one of the Brandon Sanderson novels, Stormlight Archive, where they get their powers by bonding with like basically fairies. They're like little sprite-like creatures that are like made of pure energy and god essence, and they essentially are fey-like. And by bonding with them, you unlock all these crazy abilities, and it's super fun. So, what would be some of y'all's like favorite
Powers.
type of powers? Yeah, or magic. Yes, go for it.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm trying to think of. I can't think of too many. The main one that came to mind. There's actually, I guess, like two, and they're both. I feel like they're both in DC universe. One is I like Zatanna, the like magician in DC from DC, because her thing is that she has to speak her spells backwards to summon the spell, or to cast is the word, fucking hell, to cast her spell. So like when you're reading, it's like you're reading normal, and then it'll be like, and it's cool that you just see like you're like, what you're just looking at, what is the writer putting to be written backwards to like cast like levitation on something, and it's like, oh, like lift up chair, but like spelled, backwards. And then I think the other one, it's like more so
I'm
like
still trying to figure out how they do that.
what's up?
I'm still trying to figure out how they do
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they use like mirrors or something. I'm guessing
How they spell some? Wait,
they have mirrors and magic.
Wait, is it?
Yeah.
So when you say backwards, do you
Uh-huh.
actually mean mirrored? Like, do you literally mean like all the letters are mirrored and flipped?
I've seen both, where it's mirrored, and then I've also seen where it's like just spelled
Or just
backwards.
order.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
I think it just depends on the artist at the time or the team, like. But that's the main one, and then I think as also part of like DC is just like, and I don't know, this is like maybe like a general thing with Magic, but just that like when you do use Magic, it actually takes parts from you, and whether that's like physically or like spiritually or so too. Just like the more you use Magic, the like more you lose yourself, like either becoming more
that's cool.
evil or you like just start deteriorating or so. Yeah,
But either way, you lose some part of yourself whenever you utilize it.
yeah, and I think that might just be like a general thing with Magic, but I've known like Constantine is like a big one that's like where it's come up a few times or like as a storyline sometimes.
I do like Magic being used as like a almost like a dark source. That could be like tainting or poisonous. But I don't know. I don't think that's because I do like fantasy, but in terms of like magic abilities, I don't really have any that I'm like, oh, that's super tight, or oh,
Like a system of it from
I don't know, because when it comes to magic, it very much is. I mean, it's a Deus Ex Machina, right? Like you could just kind of do whatever you need to with it. So that's why for me, I'm just like, I can't really.
Well,
You
I
know.
feel like that's why this question is very. When it says power systems, I
Yeah.
feel like that's why it's like within each world they have to define their own rules so
Yeah.
that magic
Mm-hmm.
can't just be hand wavy and just like just do
And,
whatever.
and that's what I like about the Constantine thing, where it's like you can't. That's why if you read his original books, he doesn't use magic much, really, if at all, because he's like, I have already like limited time.
Yeah,
So it's, like,
like
nice
in
and
power
fun.
systems, like this is where like I kind of branch off,
Mm-hmm.
where like oh, like a power system. This
the
would also
Force or
include. This would this would include like the Hulk and getting more angry or stronger the angrier he gets.
Also
like,
turning-
that
they
is-
made-
that is the-
Is that
it's a bound of his powers.
They did make him more
Nice.
magical
a
too.
rule system, and he is true.
They
he is magical.
Immortal Hulk
So,
like made it more
what's
like a
the-
magic based power, which was pretty sick.
Can you like state the question again then?
I was just
For
saying,
power
like
systems?
in general, yeah, power systems is going to deal with magics, powers, abilities, things that have rules given to them defined by the author, but are supernatural. So,
Yeah, I guess obviously like Sandman. I do like Sandman.
yeah.
At first it was about him, he had to have his kind of items of power, which I thought that was neat, a neat way to kind of
It's like
I guess
limit.
limit a god's abilities. But
Right.
but then he was just like, actually I don't need any of that stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
and then
it's
he
like
could just do whatever.
that's interesting too because it also brings the idea of like, oh, the endless, like their own perceptions of their powers kind of dictate their powers, and like their powers' reach is kind of like determined by their own perception of what they embody. So
Yeah. Actually,
That's a cool one.
You remind me of the green from Swamp Thing too. It's another dope one, but I'll leave it at that.
oh
Like,
yeah,
The green, the red.
Surprised you didn't mention that.
Yeah, I didn't think about it until right now, but that's also another cool one.
and then our last category is going to be the not so dead. So this is called the not so dead because it's going to include maybe undead,
Oh, okay.
maybe lifeless,
Ooh.
maybe immortal.
Zombies.
You know, things that just don't quite respect
Vamps.
the
Sinners.
art of dying. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, sinners. You know, Michael B. Jordan, and Michael B. Jordan, and Michael B.
Yeah.
Jordan, and all the other characters.
All the yeah, there's a lot of good characters in there.
Yeah,
You haven't seen that
only
movie
like
yet, have
five
you?
and only half of them are played by Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, of course.
So-
Yeah, of course he hasn't seen it yet. It's a good fantasy movie. Come on now.
You're not wrong, and I definitely got to check that one out. So, all right. So, without further ado,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and get this rolling. So, I didn't have a good way to determine who wanted to go first.
I do.
So, all right. I guess that decides it. Dala's gonna go first.
Hell yeah.
We need to give Dala the advantage because Gibbledang always wins these games.
Yeah.
So, so Dala, you will be able to pick any one of the questions on the board. It is your board, and we'll go from there.
I guess we'll start simple with the Dagrons for a 100, and then we just buzz in
Dagrons for 100.
We buzz in.
That's correct.
Okay.
You guys are gonna give me a good powerful buzz, and I will let you know.
Just audio peaking every time we
answer.
try to buzz in.
Oh yeah, just like really, just like smack your mic with your hand.
There you go.
Okay. The first of Daenerys Targaryen's dragons, named after her first
Buzz.
husband, Khal Drogo. Sorry, go ahead, Dala.
I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I'm gonna go with it being Spike or Spot. I'm gonna go with Spot. I think that's a good dragon name.
All right.
Buzz.
Yeah, go ahead, Gibbledang.
Is it Khal Drogo?
Ooh, that's close.
Actually, probably better.
That's honestly very close. But the correct answer is Drogon.
Oh, that's where
Oh,
the
come
fucking.
on.
That's so dumb.
So unfortunately, both of you
Oh,
took
we-
a guess,
okay.
and both of you got it wrong. Yeah, this is
We
Jeopardy.
can lose money
There's
too.
there's
Dang it.
negative points in Jeopardy. What? All right, so
I guess I
now
can.
unfortunately nobody got that right. So according to the Fantasy Jeopardy, Fantasy Jeopardy.
Game of Reparty.
Jeopardy.
Mageopardy.
Jeopardy. Okay. Got it in one.
Got it in one. Dala, you still have control
Okay.
over the board.
I
So
want to.
What would you like
Let's
to go
keep
for
it
next?
with Dagrons for 200. I feel like I'm gonna know a few of these later on. Hopefully.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Dagrons for 200. This black dragon is best known for one of his physical features, or lack thereof. But as Hiccup discovers, his name isn't entirely accurate.
Buzz.
Oh, we got Gibbledang.
Toothless.
The answer is Toothless from How to Train
I
Your
kept thinking
Dragon.
Red Eyes Black Dragon, but I was like, that's like the most accurate name ever. Like, I don't know how you get any more.
Incredibly accurate.
Yeah, I'm like, no, his eyes are pretty red and he is pretty black. So
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
Sorry. All right. So now that means that Gibbledang has control over the board. So Gibbledang, what would you like to see next?
Let's do the Pen Wishes for 400.
ooh,
The Pen
big
Wishes for 400.
Go away.
Title of a sequel to Aragon. This sword's name comes from the word for fire in the ancient language.
I'll buzz and fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah, Dala. You remember, if you're answering, you get wrong.
Yeah, I
you
know.
deduct points.
That's fine. I mean,
Okay.
it's better than no audio. I'm gonna go with El Fuego.
El Fuego.
El Fuego.
El Fuego.
Oh,
That is incorrect.
Buzz.
Gibbledang, would you like to also guess?
Yeah. Mortario.
Mortario.
Less Tario, actually.
Nice.
Mortar.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. All right, so the answer is Brissinger.
Of course.
Brissinger.
My problem is I kept thinking it-
One word.
I thought I had an E. That's why I kept getting messed up. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's fair. Thought it was E. Rissinger.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, in the front. Not...
All right, current scores. We have Gibbledong.
Current scores?
Current scores. We have Gibbledong at negative 300 and at
Nice.
negative 500.
So I guess it just depends on who can like
Nice.
get like the least negative and out of the two of us.
Yeah, that at the end of the day, whoever is in less debt wins. Welcome to America.
Yeah, true.
So,
We all started
So,
with negative 1,000, and you have to build your way out, just like Animal Crossing.
yep.
It's true.
Good luck. Now Gibbledang's it is Gibbledang's board, so you can go wherever you like.
Hell yeah, let's do the Pen Wishes for 500.
If I get this right, I'm
Alright,
a clean
go
zero,
big or go
baby.
home.
Come on.
I'll
That's
get this
true.
one, yeah.
These twin scimitars were wielded by the famed Drizzt Do'Urden of Dungeons and Dragons lore. I will take either of his sword's names. Either
Okay.
one.
Buzz.
Yeah, Gibbledang.
Durden and Gurdon.
So it's not Durden and Gurdon. That is incorrect.
Well, that was just the name of one sword. Let me still.
Yeah,
I
it's
still have
still-
one more
yeah.
guess.
Oh,
for
okay.
the
What's
name
the
of
other? What do you think the other sword is named? As a hint, there is a magic card representing one of these.
That hint to you only. Yeah, think of one card out of a million.
Well, it's
Mountain.
got to be a magic card from the Dungeons and
Oh,
Dragons
I guess
sets.
fair. That's fair.
Oh, good answer. Good answer. Drizzt 2.
Just 2. Unfortunately, that is incorrect. Dala, would you like to guess?
Sure, I'll buzz in. So one of
Yeah,
them,
absolutely.
one of them is Drizzt Don't Erden, and the other one is the North Scimitar.
The North Scimitar.
Ooh,
Gotcha. All right. So our real answers are Icing
Oh,
Death and
Twinkle.
Twinkle.
Icing Death and
Damn.
Twinkle.
That's
That's
pretty funny.
correct.
So one
Icing
freezes
Death,
you, and one gives you a little twinkle, in your step.
Yeah,
One
one
makes
just
you
kind
gay.
of shine.
Turns you
Makes
gay.
you
Happy
when he
June.
stabs you. If you live, you're gay now.
Yeah,
You're gay.
Most people are fine with that because it meant that they lived.
yeah, fair.
All right, so current score, we have Gibbledong at negative 800 and Dala at negative 1,000. Easy game.
Yeah,
Easy
anyone's to
game.
win at this point,
Yeah, it's really everyone's game to win. But it is Gibbledang's
Yeah.
board at the moment, so.
Alright, let's do the pen wishes for 300.
The pen wishes for 300. Forged from the shards of Narsil, this blade is the flame of the west and destined to be carried by the king.
This seems like Lord of the Rings. I'm trying to think.
Does seem like Lord of the Rings. Buzz.
Yeah, Gibbledang?
The Icing Death.
Not Icing Death. That is incorrect.
Dang it.
Dala, would you also like to take a guess?
Sure, I'll take one. Blade is the flame of the west. Is it? It's called the Flame of the West.
I mean,
That's
it
true.
is
It
called
is
the
the
Flame of the
Flame-
West.
it is
That's
the
the
Flame of
name
the
I
West.
gave you.
Damn it.
Good answer.
Good
answer.
We'll go with Twonkle. This one's Twonkle. Oh, it's
Twinkle.
Twinkle. This is Twonkle. What's this one from, actually, too?
Very true. You were right. This is
Oh,
Lord
this
of
is-
the Rings.
okay.
This is Lord of the Rings.
Damn.
This is Aragorn's blade.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sting.
King Ice.
it is named Anduril,
Oh, okay.
forged from the shards of Narsil.
The only sword I know
It's
from
gonna be a
that
quick
is
episode.
Sting, personally, so I probably wouldn't have gotten it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I personally, I connect more with Anduril. I like Anduril as a lot as a sword, and I have the magic card for it. So
I do like that Sting. Heyo. That's my favorite part. Roxanne.
Sting. I don't really listen to his music, but I really like what he does. I like that he's out there making it.
Yeah.
All right, so our current scores, we got Gibbledang at negative 1,100 and Dala at negative 1,300.
So the bigger number
I
wins.
love the way this is going.
Just kidding.
This is becoming a much different game than I thought it would be.
Is there gonna be like a?
Really?
I hope there's like a multiply by like negative, so mine turns to positive, and bam, win immediately.
Although, to be fair, I think the pen wishes is probably the hardest.
Well, let's see.
I don't know. Well, I
let's-
thought I knew some dragons, but I
Let's
guess
go pen wishes for 200.
fucking no.
I guess we'll find out. This sword is always wielded by the same hero, but often many different
Buzz.
versions of him. Which version?
Buzz.
It
Oh.
depends on which reincarnation it happens to be. Gibbledang?
Buzz, the Master Sword.
That is
Buzz.
correct. This is the
Oh.
Master Sword.
Hell
Damn.
yeah.
All right. Gibbledang has started digging himself out of debt,
Debt, nice.
at negative 900. And Dala's at negative 1,300.
It's all right. It's a race
right.
to the bottom.
It's the race to the bottom, truly. It's race to rock bottom. All right, Gibbledang, it is your board.
The pen wishes for 100.
All right, we're going to clear out
It
that
wishes.
entire
Finish it up.
category.
Yeah, get it out
All
of the way.
right, get ready. This sword was pulled from a stone. Or was it
Oh,
bestowed
Buzz.
upon its owner by some
Buzz.
gal in a pond?
Buzz.
Wait, what? So I heard Gibbledang first.
Man, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
That's Excalibur.
This is
Oh,
Excalibur.
Wait, what?
The original famous sword.
Stored.
Wait. What?
Which weirdly, in some legends, is pulled from the stone. In other legends, is
Like a
given
lady.
by the lady
Pulled
of
from
the
a
lake.
lady in
and
the
in
lake.
some pulled
from
out
a
of
lake.
from
Give
the
me that
lady of the
fucking
lake.
I'm gonna be the king of England.
Yeah,
Oh, smells like fish. And then
because it was in a lake.
in some versions, people make it where it's pulled from the stone broken, and then the lady of the lake reforges it.
And then she puts it back in the stone.
And then she puts it back in
She's
the
like,
stone.
oh,
Yeah.
sucker.
Do it again, bitch.
She's like, this is where you wanted it,
Yeah.
right? He's like, no,
Ah!
fuck.
I found. Is this right here? Is this good?
It's like bends it too while she puts it in. So
She
it's
uses
like,
her
an
magic to
angle.
just like melt it into the rocks,
Yeah.
and now it's like impossible to get out. I remember somebody online had made a character design in D&D where it was a barbarian who wields a mace, quote unquote, but their mace is the sword in the stone with the stone still
still
at the
attached,
end,
yeah.
and they just swing it like a mace.
I like that though too, because I mean, like the handle is like sharp too, so you can kind of like cut with it too, in a sense.
Right? Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like
that's
you
smart.
have a lot of options.
Yeah, versatile.
All right, so that one was Gibbledang. So Gibbledang, you still have control over our board.
Let's do Dagrons for 500.
Dagrons for 5 white. We are not touching those other categories. All right. Threatening time and the fate of the world, the hero was forced to follow this dragon to Valhalla and put him down for good.
What the fuck's his name? Buzz.
Yeah, Dala?
Damn. It's like Yurgisil or something? And it's what's it? Or is it mid Earth Dragon or something like that too, or something?
Interesting.
I think I'm like
So,
none of these are it.
that's okay. That is incorrect.
No, yeah, you're good. I was just like, damn, what the fuck? I feel like a tip of the tongue.
This is I'll give you if you wanna. I'll give you both a chance again to buzz in again. I'm gonna give you an extra hint.
Sure.
This is from the Elder Scrolls.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Thor or God of War. So that's
Unfortunately, multiple people use Valhalla these days.
yeah. It's fucking co-opted.
Red Eyes Black
I
Dragon.
did my fucking guess. So
The specific place known as Sovngarde. Alduin is
Hey.
the name of the dragon.
isn't it the sword
who,
Aragon, the dragon wields?
that is Alduin.
That's
Yeah,
true.
sorry. That's that's the sword.
Yeah, wrong category.
Alduin and Anduril.
And Twink or whatever. Twinkle.
Twink and Twunk.
And
Twinkus and Twinkle. It's like my next D&D character is a descendant of Drizzt Do'Urden, and who was named after his sword. I'm Twinkle Durden.
Untwinkle Durden. Nice.
But can you have
Alright.
like a evil personality like called Twinkle, like Gollum,
Yeah.
like Gollum and Sweegle?
No, Twinkle, no. We must kill them.
We must.
Yeah.
Must
He
twinkle
talks to
them.
himself all the time. We must twinkle them. All right, so Dala did submit a guess for this. So Dala is at negative 1,800. Gibbledang is still
I
at
submitted a
negative-
guess.
You did?
Yeah, I said
You said Red Eyes, I
what did
think, or
say?
something, right?
Red Eyes Black Jacket.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so
said-
let's just go ahead and put Gibbledang at negative 1,300 too.
Speaking of which, sorry, it just reminded me. Do you guys see that fucking ad that Yu-Gi-Oh is releasing? Like, I guess some like decks. They're called like Red Eyes Black Power or some shit. And then there's like a white one too.
I did not see that. And
It's-
there's Blue Eyes White Power?
I think there's like a white power and a black power. I think there might be Japanese exclusives though, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, ooh, maybe
It does not translate
yeah,
great.
maybe rethink that.
All right, Gibbledang, it is your board.
Let's do Dagrons for 400.
Clean up.
Dagrods for 400. One of the rarest in the world, having 3 of these dragons could make you one of the most famous
Buzz.
and rich
Buzz.
duelists alive. Yes, Gibbledang?
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
That is correct. Blue
Goddamn.
Eyes White Dragon.
The one dragon I knew on here.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Because me personally, Yu-Gi-Oh! To me, definitely fantasy, seeing
Oh,
as
yeah.
how there's ghosts, spirits, and in the ancient
Egypt.
times, real monsters that existed in ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
What about Pokemon?
Definitely fantasy. Pokemon's fantasy through and through and through. They went out of their way to make Pokemon copies of actual fantasy villain or fantasy like monsters. They're like, oh, what we need a ooze. Wait, no, it's not a ooze. It's a Grimer. Wait,
There's also dragons and fairies.
Yep. All right, so now, Gibbledang, you still have control of our board.
Dagrons for 300.
Dagon's 300. We're gonna clear out that category. This dragon always speaks his mind,
Oh,
and if you
Buzz.
listen closely, he kind of sounds like a donkey. Yes, Dala.
Hello. I was thinking it was Dragon from Shrek.
But
But she doesn't speak, so I'm like, wait, no, I'm fucking dumb. I mean, that'd be my guess.
No, this is a dragon who sounds like a donkey.
Yeah. I'm like, who is that?
Sounds like that.
Yeah, that'll be my guess. I mean,
You're eerily close. You're you know.
is it donkey or donkey?
That no, well, that part of the sentence,
is,
I am referring to that donkey.
Oh, that donkey.
Gibbledang.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't
Do you
remember
have
any
a
other
guess?
dragons from Shrek.
No. It's a dragon who sounds like Donkey from Shrek.
Oh, Mushu.
Buzz.
I'm gonna let him take that.
I don't know. I kept thinking you were like when you
no,
said
it's like-
close.
Take that one,
you're
dog.
When
so
you when you say
close, I
close,
think you're
I was like,
missing
oh,
the joke.
so Shrek. Okay, what other donkeys are or what other dragons are in Shrek? I'm like,
Close like yes, Eddie Murphy.
yeah, you know, as I always think.
Nice.
All right, this
Yay.
is Mushu. That means Dala. Now you're at negative
Yeah,
1500.
I'm starting to get out of debt.
Ooh.
Yeah, working your way down.
Damn, there's interest though on this.
All right. There's going to be interest at the end. You
Yeah.
both are going to owe me all this money. All right, so Dala, the board is yours.
I'll do. Let's do 500 for that not so dead. That not so raven. Or
The Not So Dead for 500. The souls of these creatures return to the planet they are bound to when their body is killed. Afterwards, they can return and find a new body during the next Everstorm. Typo, sorry, ignore that.
Buzz?
Yes, Gibbledang.
Are these the Scientology aliens?
John Travolta.
So here's the thing. I almost want to give you partial
oh
credit.
my gosh.
Because
Okay.
this is part of a fantasy genre. This is part of a fantasy universe that is made by somebody who's not Scientologist, but is also a part of a religion that believes in souls going to planets. So this was kind of a fun question that I threw in there that I'm not going to take points away from because I knew this was not going to be quite achievable. I just wanted to talk about it.
Sure.
So these are called the Fused
Oh,
from Stormlight Archive. In Stormlight Archive,
Any
the
excuse.
Fused will die and their souls will go back to Braze, the planet of Braze.
This is
And then
sponsored
in the next
content.
Everstorm, their people can recall across the space-time their soul back from Braze and fuse it into a new body again.
That's good.
Nice.
That's special.
Sounds cool. I mean,
Yep, I'm
never would
this
have
is
guessed that.
this is mainly just a part of my personal agenda to
Yeah.
get everybody more
Sponsored
educated on Brandon Sanderson things, so that I can talk about it even
What
more.
religion is he or whatever?
So-
Like,
He's a Mormon.
yeah, that's pretty close to spaghetti
And it's like
monster.
it's funny as hell because I was reading all his books and I was like, this is giving, like, there's so much talk of souls flying between planets. I'm like, it's giving Mormon. And
and then you find out like, oh,
and then I find out he's a teacher at BYU, at Brigham Young University, and I was like, no freaking way. And then I find out that he went on mission, like, as a Mormon missionary, and I was like, this makes so much sense.
do you think he ever soaked? Is there soak?
Did Brandon
Is there soaking in the book?
Soak.
Is there soaking in Stormlight?
Man.
Oh,
that
my
is.
God.
I will say
That
there is
sucks.
like no talk of sex ever
Uh,
in any of his books.
I would hope so.
actually.
I would hope not. I mean,
So,
Jesus
so
Christ.
maybe, just like soaking, it's an unexplained art.
yeah.
Anyways,
No one knows. I guess we'll
No
just
one really
we'll
knows.
switch. We'll keep going down to 400. You know.
not so dead for
Yeah.
400. These creatures were once more mortal, long ago being more akin to trolls. However, eons of evolution in nature have made them timeless sentinels of the wild.
Buzz.
Yes, Dala?
Are these the Ents?
That is
what I was
correct.
thinking.
These are
Okay.
Yeah,
the
that's what I
Ents
was
from
thinking
Lord of
too.
the Rings.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was like,
great
that
job.
sounds like it, but okay. I didn't realize they were like
Yeah,
akin
they-
to trolls. I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, they used to look a lot like people. Like they were just like tall, really tall elves, basically, who decided to never leave the forest and to be shepherds of the forest. And eventually, they just kind of bonded with the forest and kind of became
one with-
tree-like themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dala, digging your way out. Negative
Yay.
1100. You're getting there. All right, you're bored.
Let's try power systems for 5 hundo.
Power systems,
Yeah.
500.
Ooh.
All right. These abilities were passed down generationally after being bestowed on humanity by the lion turtles. Humans learned to master them by studying the beings in nature who had the same powers, animals or forces.
Buzz?
Yes, Dala?
I don't think this is right, but animorphs. Fucking
This is not animals.
damn! I would just love for an excuse.
Animorphing powers, I believe, comes from space.
That's true. The aliens do give it to
Yeah,
them. That's
they're
fair.
aliens.
Yeah.
Disability after being
Gibbledang,
bestowed-
would you like to also submit a guess? Risk it for the biscuit? Or
It
keep
almost
your,
sounds like-
your negative 900 lead?
Almost sounds like fucking Power Rangers even or something. I'm trying to think, but like, I don't know.
No, I'm not gonna risk it. No. What is it?
All right. Dala will go down
Mm-hmm.
to negative 1600 again. The answer
okay.
is Avatar:
Oh,
The Last Airbender.
I fucking thought about that.
I
I
wouldn't
literally
have.
thought about that, but I was like, no, they don't do animals. But do they? Do they fucking get powers of animals?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
No.
Huh.
Listen, they got the powers from the lion turtles, and then they learned to master them by studying the animals. So the firebenders studied the dragons. The earthbenders studied the badger moles.
You know, those are
The
dragons.
airbenders studied the
Cockatoos.
sky bison, the cockatoos.
Yeah.
the
Sky
bison.
Skyson.
And then the reason why it says animals or forces is because the
water.
waterbenders learned from the moon, from the moon and the
My
ocean
favorite animal.
itself.
Yeah. Damn, I literally
favorite
thought
animal,
about
no.
Avatar, but then I was like, no, I guess that's my fault for not seeing the show.
It is.
I mean, in all fairness, I included both. This is a little longer because I included the second part, humans learning to master them by studying the animals. In the original Avatar: The Last Airbender, that is how they learned bending. That was the lore. It was
Just
like
animals.
people got these powers from the animals. They just studied the animals and the way they used their chi, and they learned to do it the same way.
Yeah.
And then it was retconned in Legend of Korra that actually human beings were bestowed bending powers by the lion turtles.
See, that's why I got confused. I didn't know that part. I'm just kidding. Nah.
Yeah, you gotta watch Legend of Korra.
Gotta watch all of
Gotta
it.
be up to date on your Korra. Hey, they're making the third season or the third series now too.
Threeson. The Threeson.
The threeson.
Yeah, let's
The
do.
three-
Speaking of
three
Threeson,
rees.
let's do power systems for 300.
Power Systems 300. This ability allows the user to cross the blind eternities and travel to a new plane of existence. An
Buzz,
entirely new
Buzz.
world to explore.
Bing bong.
Yes, Gibbledang.
Planeswalker. Planeswalking.
That's correct. This is Planeswalking from Magic the Gathering. The ability
Lame.
to cross two different planes.
See, I do crazy walking. It's different. It's more insane.
It's way
It's
yeah.
way cooler.
You
Planeswalking?
do. But
Not
that's because you were
me.
born with a
I'm
condition. right?
wild
What was that?
walking.
Doctors say it's terminal. I'm crazy
I got
walking.
crazy. Oh gosh.
Oh my god, I was just crazy walking all day, every day. Now I gotta go in and get chemo. Anyways,
Power systems for 400.
Power systems for 400. This power is a cosmic energy field and force, and is
Buzz.
based around velocity and the movement of atoms. I heard Dala.
Speed Force from Flash.
That is correct. This
Yeah.
is the Speed Force from the Flash.
Force. Speed
The Speed
Force.
Force.
The
One of
Force.
seven universal constants that power different abilities and crazy
Yeah.
things. in the
Speed
DC
Force,
universe.
Strength Force, Fly Force, Force, Eat Force, Jump Force. That's all.
Suck Force.
Suck Force, yeah. Blow Force.
Jump force, best force.
Let's do 200
Horse Force.
for power systems.
Power systems
Yeah.
for 200.
Oh my god.
These
long.
abilities are unlocked through rigorous training to sculpt one's own power of concentration and life energy. Most of the time, this requires specific sequences of hand positions to activate. These powers harness the mutable energy source passed down from the aliens that invaded eons ago. I heard Gibbledang.
This one's
Well,
Animorphs.
at first I was gonna say Naruto, but then it's probably some anime. Or it's probably Naruto?
Buzz.
Is that your guess?
Can I buzz?
Yeah, why not?
It's Jujitsu.
It is Jutsu from Naruto. That is correct.
He just said Naruto.
I'll take
That's
it.
fine.
I'll take this.
Yeah, I literally thought that
'Cause
too. I
also
was
you
like,
said
oh, that's-
you said jujitsu, and that's
Yeah.
not it either.
I stuttered. I meant to say jutsu. I was
That's
like,
an-
yeah.
That's an alien thing?
Yes, it turns out that chakra, the energy within life, in order to create these magical effects through jutsu, that was bred into humanity by
Ooh.
an interplanetary demon named Kaguya, who stayed and mated with a human instead of devouring the world.
Kinky.
Wow.
She was supposed to devour the world.
And she.
Much better option, I would say, is just staying and nailing some dude.
He's pretty hot. He had one of those condoms that
Yeah.
were big wrapper, small condom though.
Yeah,
That was the only
yeah.
downside.
And then he showed her that huge
She's like,
wrapper, and
"Ooh."
she's like, "Oh shit, I can't eat this one."
Yeah.
All right,
Let's
so
do
now
power
it's gonna
systems
be
for 100.
Gibbledang. Power systems for 100. Let's finish this one
Do
out.
it.
In this world, the main character can draw power from the universe itself. The power
Buzz.
is everything. You, me,
Yeah.
the tree, the rock,
Oh,
and the
fuck.
space between.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dala,
What
I
is
heard you.
this? Is this? Shit, I was thinking Captain Planet, but I don't think it's that anymore. So I'm like, I know this is a line from
That makes
something,
sense.
but I'm like, what is it? I don't know. All
You, me,
Thor?
the trees, the rock, and the
oh,
space
the Force.
between.
It's the Force from Star Wars. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Thanks.
the Force from Star Wars.
I don't watch Star Wars enough
It
to
would
be
be-
like, but I fucking was like,
It's a little bit
a line.
recognizable if it's more like
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
You, me, the tree.
Oh, I thought it was Obi-Wan.
No, this is a Yoda, a yogurt
Ooh.
paraphrasing.
Oh, see, I love
of
Spaceballs.
his,
That's
he
my.
said.
That one's better, in my opinion. It's
Yeah,
my Star Wars.
Yeah, sorry, I should. It's actually the Schwartz.
Yeah. They
Is the correct answer.
and marketing. You want it on a T-shirt?
All right, so that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, do I ever! I would love your Schwartz. I see your
Yours
Schwartz
is
is bigger
bigger
than mine.
I'll do 500 for elves on elves on elves on the shelves.
Elves on
Ooh.
elves on elves for 500. These elves shit diamonds. On top of that, when these elves decide to reproduce, a woman can get pregnant by sleeping with the same man for years, or get pregnant immediately by being at the center of a giant gangbang.
The fuck? Is this a hentai?
The fuck is this?
Nope.
This
This is a fantasy
diamonds.
world that is popular in the tabletop community.
Oh, okay, then that's not
Oh,
gonna help.
God.
Me, or like, not me.
Well, yeah. Pass.
All
I'll
right,
take
if
a
nobody
guess.
wants to guess, we can let it go. It's up to you.
I'll take a guess. Is this fucking like Warhammer? Like, I feel like this is.
Dala with
Okay.
the snipe. These are the
Whoa,
Eldar
Yeah,
from Warhammer
I was like, this sounds like some
40K.
dark shit. Like, especially the gangbang part.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, these are the Eldar, one of the oldest races to
Eldar.
exist in their timeline.
Jeez.
And they eventually went insane with giant orgy murder fests. All right.
I would do the same, brother.
Men.
I mean, I would too. If I had all the time in the world, I feel like I would end up at Giant Orgy Murder Fest too.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we all?
Let's do 400. Let's just work our way down this bad boy.
All right. Elves on elves on elves for 400. These elves were born out of the yawning abyss that existed before the universe as we know it. They routinely make enemies of powerful gods. Yawning abyss is in quotes because it is translation. Yes, Dala?
I'm going to say the Dark Elves from Thor. They got to be in here somewhere.
That is correct. These are the
Sick.
dark elves of Svartalfheim.
Svartalfheim.
The Svartalfar,
Yeah.
as they're known as.
See, that's why I was confused. But I know Svarta's fine, but not Yawning Abyss. So that's what threw me off.
These elves are pulling you ahead.
I
Dala
apparently
now
know
is at
more.
Negative 200. Gibbledang at negative
I
400.
know a lot about elves, apparently.
Oh no.
I guess elves on
no.
elves for 300.
Elves on elves on elves for 300. This subrace of elves are actually the dwarves of their fantasy world. They are the elves who learned magical machinery and dug deep into the earth for riches.
These actually sound familiar.
Buzz?
I'll buzz
Sure, Gibbledang.
too.
Gnomes?
Gnomes is incorrect. Dala, what would you like to guess?
I want to say for some reason these are like, I feel like they're called gremlins or something almost, even though they're like not. But I don't know from what.
I will take... Okay. That is incorrect,
Okay.
Unfortunately.
You said you'll take it though.
I was about to say I'll take the world they're from as well.
Yeah,
But-
no,
These
Oh,
are the Dwemer
there you go.
from the Elder Scrolls,
Deep elves.
also known
Delves.
as Deep Elves.
Delves.
deep elves, yep.
Elder Scrolls has a unique history where most of their non-human races are all descendant from elves. They're all different types of elves. The orcs are the Orsimer, the orc elves.
What about the cat people?
No, the Khajiit are not
Oh,
descended
okay.
from elves. They are a different species.
Gotcha. Yeah, just curious.
All
Is it
right,
still-
so you have control of the board still.
Let's
Yeah.
do 200 for elves.
All right, elves on elves on
know.
elves for 200. These elves can see past the line of the horizon, a skill from their race existing before their world was made to be round.
Buzz.
Gibbledang?
Are these the Lord of the Rings elves?
That is correct.
Nice.
These are the elves from Lord of the Rings, the
Ooh.
elves of Middle-earth. Great
Yeah.
job. Yes, when in the movies, when Aragorn says, Legolas, what do your elf eyes see? He's literally asking him to look extra far because he doesn't have to be limited by the horizon.
He's not racist, I swear. He's not, specious.
Yeah,
He's-
it's not an offensive
just being,
thing.
Yeah, he's being genuine.
Quite literally, elves have different eyes and different
Oh.
eyesights. All
the
right,
not
so
so
now
dead for
this is going to
300.
be... Oh, what was that?
The Not So Dead for 300.
Not so dead for 300. All right, here we go, Gibbledang. Powerful wizards bind their souls to objects in an attempt
Buzz.
to
Oh,
cheat
Buzz.
Ooh, that's rough.
That was-
that was
me.
literally
Come on.
simultaneous.
Nah, it was me.
to
Check the
me.
recording.
So, okay. How can I do a good tiebreaker here?
It's like a coin flip.
All right, whoever comes up with the best new name for zombies first, we'll get to answer first. Go.
Zinc.
Oh, Gliblins.
Zinkles.
I don't think I'll take Gliblins.
Damn. Alright.
I just can't imagine someone being afraid of the zombies trying to break in, and it's like, oh god, the Gliblins are coming.
The Gliblins are here.
They're gonna glib us.
All right. So, Gibbledang, what is this creature called?
Oh my god.
Really?
They're from Harry Potter. Are they the Death Walkers? What are they?
I'm a buzzing out also, in case you don't.
That is incorrect. Dala,
The
what would
Death
you like
Eaters.
to guess? That is also
wait.
incorrect.
Okay, is this what is it? Patronus? Patronans.
Voldemort?
So,
Or what
here,
is
let me see if
items?
this makes it easier. The item that they bind themselves
Yeah.
to is also known as a phylactery.
That's actually okay. That's less ringing a bell. I thought it was the thing from Harry Potter. I thought it was.
I'm further away now.
Yeah.
This is a lich.
Oh.
This is what liches are.
okay.
From Dungeons and Dragons.
I thought it was because what's the
Cool.
thing in Harry Potter where they have like, fuck, you destroyed my Patronus or something.
Horcrux.
Horcrux.
Those are
That's what I was thinking of.
Horcruxes. Horcruxes are slivers of a wizard's soul
That's what I was thinking.
that they stored their part of their essence in so that they can never truly die.
Gotcha.
So it is close. It's
Yeah,
kind of the
it's-
same
yeah,
thing.
Similar.
But the wizard doesn't store his essence
yeah.
in the item as much as it's bound to the item so that it keeps his soul tethered to the mortal realm.
Mm-hmm.
And he just possesses his own dead corpse.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Nerd.
That's right. All right, so our score is tied with both of you being at negative 800.
This actually got more interesting. Like, funny enough, despite us not knowing shit about fantasy.
Yeah.
Let's do elves on elves on elves for 100.
All right, elves on elves on elves, 100. These elves do not technically sleep. Instead, they slip into a state of waking dreams. Their minds are resting while their subconscious dreams, but they are still aware of their surroundings.
Buzz.
Yes, Gibbledang?
What is an elf?
Are these the elves from Legend of Zelda?
Elves from Legend of Zelda, that is incorrect. Dala, would you like to take a guess as well?
We could do franchise too. You said.
Yes.
Okay.
And there are technically two answers
Oh.
that could work for this.
I'm just gonna guess Game of Thrones. Elves.
That is also
Okay.
incorrect. Game of Thrones does not have elves, unfortunately. The correct answer is either the Elves of Alagasia
Dungeons
in
and
Aragon
Dragons?
or Dungeons and Dragons.
Huh.
Elves and Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
if you ever make an elf creature or an elf
They don't need to
character,
sleep.
you don't have to sleep.
Okay.
You go into a meditative state and you only take
just
4
never have,
hours
man.
to long rest instead of 8.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Just never made an elf yet.
Got it. Looks like you got some exploring to do
Yeah.
into a new character
You
creation.
gotta buy the Deltarune,
right.
or not Deltarune, was it Deltora Quest books, the Treehouse books, and make an elf in D&D.
There you go.
To-do list.
All right, so now we're tied at negative 900. Everybody's doing great.
Yep.
I'm gonna be owed lots of money when this is over.
Perfect.
That was my scam all
You take,
along. This was how
fantasy
I was gonna
money,
just
right?
get money from you guys.
Fantasy money's good. So fruit. I'll give you some
Funny,
fruit bloops.
as we call it.
As long as it's still made of gold, yeah.
Okay, it's imaginary gold, but sure.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right, Gibbledang, you're bored.
Let's do the not so dead.
Ooh, how much?
100 or 200?
Oh,
200.
All right.
throwing us for a
I was
loop.
like, good choice. These creatures are ever living, but born of smokeless flame. The longer they live, the more power they gain from tricking mortals and making dark pacts.
Buzz.
Yes, Gibbledang?
Devils?
That is incorrect. Dala, would you like to take a guess?
Sure. I will say I'm like between demon or tiefling. I'll go with the tiefling.
Unfortunately, that is also
Okay.
incorrect. The correct answer was jinn or
Oh.
genies.
Ah.
Okay, that
In
makes
their
sense, yeah.
most of their original lore, genies are born from smokeless flame.
Ooh.
You should have mentioned rubbing a lamp.
You should have said rubbing one
I
out.
could've.
Yeah. They come out whenever you
Like,
rub
that
one
would've
out.
made it a
One out,
little
yeah.
easy.
I would have known right then
I
and
should
there.
have said
one
that
out,
actually.
then-
These genies are always encouraging you to rub one out.
Yeah.
Or these creatures.
Rub me off, dude. Rub me off. Come on.
These genies.
All right. So now
Which number?
the tiebreaker
There you
is
go.
going to be the not so dead 100.
This is
Let's
intense.
see who wins, or if you guys both tie and just owe me $2,200. So let's find out.
Perfect.
This creature may die, but it always is reborn
Buzz.
instantly from its own
Buzz.
smithereens. Dala?
A phoenix, baby.
What?
That's
the
correct.
Jean
That is
Grey.
a phoenix hooked on Phoenix.
You could give my points to
So
Gibbledang, though,
Dala
so that he
goes
wins.
up
this one.
100. No.
Oh, no?
Dala, you did. You won.
No.
Don't give
No.
away your
Dala,
victory.
you
I
did
knew-
it. You
I knew
did
one-
win.
I knew
Oh,
ents.
Look at that.
I got Ents right once.
You did. Honestly, that the Ents and the
What was the other one?
Warhammer
That one was a
elves
fucking.
crazy.
That was pulled out of my ass.
Yeah, that
Good
was so.
job.
That one was
funny.
actually just straight out of my ass, which is great.
Yes,
I was gonna
all
say,
good
yeah.
answers come.
Speaking of cum.
So that was Mageopardy.
Yay!
So I apologize.
No, you're good.
Alright, just to start things off here afterwards, I apologize. I think I might have made some of them a little too difficult.
No, you're good. Like we
But-
just need to brush up on our skills.
I think that's
you
what it really comes
overestimated
down
how much
to.
Mhm.
how much of a nerd fucking
You are.
you
I think
were
you guys-
we weren't.
Yeah, both of you have been shirking in your nerd duties.
That's fair.
Actually, and I'm here. This is actually an audit.
See, well, the way
And that's why you owe me $2,100.
that's not. Yeah, I owe less. Oh yeah, at least
These are fines.
these are. Yeah. Oh, I love that though. I wish the IRS would come to me and be like, "Here's the trivia game. If you could win, let's see how much you owe, and I can work my way the fuck out."
Oh my god,
That'd be so
the
nice.
Perfect society. Oh my god.
It's like fun trivia
Yeah,
game.
the perfect
I
society.
think I think the IRS should let you take a test like you're in school to prove you know things,
Yeah.
like just general knowledge. And if it's good enough, they're like, yeah, you're not doing a lot, but you're a productive member of
that's fine.
society.
Yeah.
Like you know stuff. It's good to have you around. All right, less taxes.
Yeah,
for you.
yeah. There you go. See, there should.
And if you don't, you get sent to jail.
Yeah.
And if you score a
For
0,
work.
they immediately put you in at the RFK Junior's new
Labor
work
camp.
Oh
farms.
God.
Yeah.
Get to work.
Sorry, you're going to the depression fields. All right.
That was
Well,
fun.
thank you
Yeah.
so much, you guys. That was great.
I
Do
think-
you have any
Hell yeah.
plugs or shout outs?
No. Oh, you know what? Plugs. I guess I want to do a plug for Blank Valley Films. It's last week. I talked about how it's gonna be doing a short film with them. Still excited for that.
Woo!
I saw a band recently, Honey Revenge.
Ooh.
They were really cool.
I don't know them, but
Go check
sounds
them
cool.
out. Femme pop band, really nice. Yeah. Other than that, not much else. What about you, Dala?
Yeah, I think just the only thing I was gonna shout out really, I guess, is Happy Pride Month. We're probably a week or two in at this point, but go out, watch some.
Happy Pride Month.
Yeah, go. I don't know if there's fantasy fantasy gay movies, but go watch out. Go out and find one and let me know because I'm curious to check out some queer fantasy media. And then just
Some
Ooh.
fantasy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then just also as
Damn.
always, make sure you're following us on Instagram, YouTube, everywhere at No Dumb Idea. Yeah. What about you, Gymleader Nate?
For me, feel free to find me anywhere on social media as Gymleader Nate. And other than that, I just want to give a big shout out to Icing Death and Twinkle Twinkle.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Gwimbles.
Yeah,
Big shout out
Twinkle
to
and Twinkle.
Twinkle.
Woo.
Was it
Yeah,
Glimblins?
Gliblins.
Gliblins, that's what it was.
Gliblins. Yes.
Gliblins.
Big shout out to
They're gonna
Gliblins.
swarm ya.
Shout out.
to Jutsu being from demons from outer space.
Yeah.
That's good.
Shout out
What the
Animorphs,
fuck was that
too.
about?
You didn't
Shout
get
out
enough love in this episode. Maybe
Shout out
do like a-
Animorphs. Honestly, I should have included Animorphs.
it's okay. It's a little more sci-fi.
Yeah,
if anything.
shout out Onderlin, Aragorn's
Oh, yeah.
sword.
and
Anduril,
and the dragon from whatever Aragon.
Anderlin.
and the dragon. Anti shout out for J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Your book sucked
Yeah.
and I hate you.
Fuck you. Happy Pride Month.
Yeah, I hate you. Yeah, happy Pride Month. Shout out to Pride Month.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Pride Month
gay
and-
elves.
Gelves.
Asterion.
Yeah, Gels,
Gels.
Asterion. Shout out to Asterion from Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah. And hopefully more gay elves to come.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
I genuinely am hoping there is a gay
Alright.
fantasy movie
Oh, that would be. If there isn't one, we should make it.
right now. Let's start writing.
Right now. All right, we're gonna hang up this.
Thank you for listening to No Dumb Idea.